How's it going, everyone? Rosalind here. With RAIDOU Remastered just about to release, I wanted to talk a bit about the game and my current thoughts and opinions on it after playing it for just over 50 hours. But I also don't want this to be considered a full definitive review, as I haven't completed the game yet. That, and while I was not sponsored to make this or any video for RAIDOU Remastered, I was provided access to the game early by Sega and Atlas. Also, quick plug if you don't mind, but I am now partnered with Figgies. If you want to know more about Figgies and how you can support the channel while getting yourself some awesome collectibles, stay tuned to the end of the video. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about RAIDOU Remastered. RAIDOU Remastered takes place in the year 1931, the fictional 20th year of the Taisho period of Japan. You control Kuzunoha Raido XIV, a devil summoner who also works as a detective at the Narumi Detective Agency, as you travel between the real world and dark realm investigating strange cases and fighting off demons to protect the capital. Raido gets roped into the bigger narrative when a young girl appears at the Narumi Detective Agency one day with the request to kill her, only to then be kidnapped moments later. Overall, I have been enjoying the story, and the addition of almost full voice acting has been great, with a lot of big names in the Japanese voice acting industry being present. When it comes to the gameplay loop of RAIDOU Remastered, a lot of what you'll be doing is going to various parts of Tokyo to gather information that you then use to track down a target or person of interest, which often leads to areas with demons to fight or a demon-infested version of Tokyo called the Dark Realm. While investigating, you will often need to use demons you've captured to help you in your investigation. Almost every demon in RAIDOU Remastered has investigation skills that are needed at various points in the game in order to progress. This can be the ability to inspect an area for hidden items, read people's minds, fly to otherwise unreachable areas, and more. In this sense, demons in RAIDOU Remastered aren't unlike that of Persona in the Persona series, in that you want to be carrying a bunch on you at any given time, even if you aren't planning to use them in combat. The difference here being that instead of needing a persona corresponding to a specific arcana, you want a bunch of demons that give you access to all the investigation skills. If not, you may find yourself in a position in which you have to go to the Gomaden in order to pull out a demon with the necessary skill to progress the story. Speaking of the Gomaden, this is where you will be doing all of your demon fusion and sword alchemy. And if you know me, then you'll know that I've spent quite a bit of time there. You have the Devil Chart, which is basically RAIDOU Remastered's compendium, where you can register your demons in order to pull them out later. There is also the Premium Devil Chart, which is a limited version of the Devil Chart that lets you register multiple copies of the same demon. Treatment lets you heal Raido or any demons in your stock if needed, and then there is Fusion and Sword Alchemy. If you played any recent Atlas JRPG, then the Fusion section should feel right at home. You have a number of different options for figuring out what demons you want to fuse, such as normal, search, and reverse fusion, and these work the same as they have in other games. You find a demon you want to fuse, and then you select which skills you want to pass down through fusion. One difference here is that active and passive skills are passed down separately. Skills such as Agi, Bufu, Zio, and whatnot are selected before fusing a demon, and then once the demon is fused, you select passive skills such as Resist Fire, Ice Boost, and so forth. These two types of skills don't conflict with each other, so the total number of beneficial combat skills a demon can have is significantly higher than other Atlas titles. Fusion is how you beef up your demons, but for Raido himself, you have Sword Alchemy. Think of Sword Alchemy as a skill tree and weapon upgrade system in one. As you progress through the game, you'll be acquiring items that can be used to essentially craft new weapons for Raido. In addition to having higher attack value, upgraded weapons that you craft will provide bonus stats and come with new skills for Raido to learn. Some skills will be obtained by just playing through the main story, but the rest come from crafting new weapons. The reason I liken this to a skill tree is due to there being different weapon types and the need to craft weapons in a sort of sequential order in order to gain access to the higher tier weapons. Luckily though, as soon as you craft a weapon, Raido does learn whatever skill it came with, so if you happen to need to craft a weaker weapon for a skill, you don't actually have to equip that weapon to learn the skill. By simply crafting it, Raido learns its associated skill. It should come as no surprise to those who have been following the channel for a while that I enjoy the fusion system in SMT and Persona titles, and RAIDOU Remastered is no exception. That being said, I do kind of wish there was a bit more to Sword Alchemy, as it does feel a bit lacking when compared to Demon Fusion. Either way, once you've fused your demons and made your weapons, the best place to make use of them is in combat. Combat in RAIDOU Remastered is action-based, and while there are a lot of differences, the closest modern comparison from another Atlas title would probably be Persona 5 Strikers. In combat, you control Raido with up to 2 demon companions being controlled by the AI. Raido himself has access to normal attacks which do very little damage but generate mag, the resource needed to do basically everything in combat, and heavy attacks which do significantly more damage than normal attacks but cost mag to use. Additionally, Raido can equip up to 3 skills to use in battle. These can be various elemental magic attacks learned by progressing the main story, as well as other physical and supporting skills gained from crafting new weapons with sword alchemy. Upon using a skill, it will go on cooldown and not be usable for a set period of time depending on the attack used. If at any moment you need a skill you don't currently have equipped, you can actually swap Raidou's skills out even while in combat, but the newly added skill will start on cooldown. In addition to normal attacks, heavy attacks, and skills, Raidou can dodge enemy attacks, and he can even jump over some of them as well. Timing your dodges correctly or attacking enemies until you knock them off balance can let you trigger Devil's Bane, a follow-up attack that deals extra damage and restores a bunch of mag. You also build up spirit throughout battle by hitting enemy weaknesses, defeating enemies, using skills, and just pretty much playing the game. Upon filling your spirit gauge to full, Raidou can use Spirit Slash, which hits all enemies dealing massive damage. As for your demon companions, they will largely operate on their own, automatically using skills based on the situation. In general, they will aim to hit enemy weaknesses if possible, and attack the same target as Raidou. However, you do have some control over what they do. Hitting the D-pad button corresponding to a demon will switch it between use skills and don't use skills. Use skills works as previously described, whereas don't use skills will cause the demon to only use normal attacks. You can also manually issue commands by bringing up the menu in battle and selecting command, allowing you to specify a target and what skill to use. There is also a safeguarding command, which causes your demons to stop attacking altogether and follow you around, during which your demons become temporarily invincible, something that is essential for keeping your demons alive as they won't move to avoid damage or dodge otherwise. Those are the basics of combat, but there still are a number of things to keep in mind. First is your mag, which can be seen by the green bar underneath your HP bar at the bottom of the screen. Raidou uses mag when executing heavy attacks, but anytime your demons use one of their skills, they also consume the same mag bar. You may also want to swap your demons mid-combat in order to target an enemy weakness, and doing so will consume mag. Speaking of which, being an SMT game, RAIDOU Remastered's combat heavily incentivizes hitting enemy weaknesses. Doing so not only deals more damage, it will stun the enemy temporarily, during which all attacks on that enemy will be critical hits, do 50% more damage, and restore twice the normal amount of mag. There are some enemies though that have weakness shields that protect them from being stunned when hit with their weaknesses. In these cases, you need to continually attack the enemy until the shield breaks before you can actually stun them. Essentially, combat in RAIDOU Remastered boils down to a juggle between spending mag on skills, demon skills, and heavy attacks, and then generating mag through normal attacks in order to spend it again, all while dodging incoming enemy attacks. You do also have a gun you can use, but its main purpose is for helping to break enemy shields and to hit pesky teleporting enemies so they stay put for your demons to attack them, as the actual damage of your gun attacks is quite low. I should also mention that you acquire new demons by using the confinement command on them in combat. Basically, you walk up to a demon in combat, and assuming it is either the same level as you or lower, and you have enough mag, you can execute the confinement command to capture that demon. Once combat is over, you will of course receive experience, money, and occasionally items. After acquiring enough experience points, Raidou and his demons will of course level up. When Raidou levels up, you are able to allocate a skill point to one of his stats, those being strength, magic, vitality, and luck. Demons on the other hand will have their stat points allocated automatically, and assuming they hit the appropriate level will learn new skills. This is all standard SMT Persona affair, but demons in RAIDOU Remastered also have loyalty, which raises after battle. Loyalty has a number of benefits, but the main one is learning passive skills. Max out a demon's loyalty and they will learn their innate passive skill that can then be passed on in fusion. In general, I have been enjoying my time with RAIDOU Remastered, but there are a few points of concern. The first has to deal with the overall feel of combat. RAIDOU Remastered uses an updated version of the combat system used in the second Kuzunoha Raidou game on PS2. Because of this, and despite the overhaul it received, there is still some jank, for lack of a better word. It's hard to explain, but while playing RAIDOU Remastered, you can tell that the base game is from the PS2 era. It's not a deal breaker or anything, but definitely something to be aware of. This jank does also translate to the out-of-combat experience as well though, specifically in the camera. When walking around the various areas of the capital city, you can't control the camera. Instead, it will stay at fixed points based on where you entered the area and will automatically change its orientation as you move throughout the city. Finally, investigation skills can get a bit annoying after a while. You will need to use them often, especially if you are going to fully explore for all items, and if you are doing all of the side quests as well. Where this gets annoying is with their animations. Every time you use an investigation skill, you need to watch its animation. If you need a different demon, then you first need to watch the animation of that demon being summoned, followed by the skill's animation. And in some instances, you actually need to end up controlling the demon temporarily, but unlike RAIDOU, who can sprint, demons cannot. Again, not a deal breaker, but it is something to be aware of as it does get annoying. Anyways, that'll do it for this video going over my thoughts on RAIDOU Remastered. If you found this video helpful and informative, please be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you'd like to support the channel further and get yourself some awesome merch in the process, head over to figgies.com where you can purchase collectible magnet figures from a bunch of your favorite video game and anime series, including Atlas series such as Metaphor and Persona 5. These are honestly pretty darn cool. You get a retro-style magnet figure, a reversible metal background, and then both a stand and magnet sticker for display. New figures are released in batches all the time. For example, Metaphor's Wave 1 includes DMC, Gallica, Stroll, Hulkenberg, and Heisme, and Persona 5's Wave 1 will include Joker, On, and Morgana. If these seem like something you'd want to pick up, then be sure to use my code ROSALINDFIGGIES at checkout for 5% off any purchase of $50 or more. Finally, if you have any questions about this video, RAIDOU Remastered, or any other game that I cover, you can always hit me up over on Twitch at twitch.tv/RosalindGaming or my Discord server, both of which you can find links to in the video description below. Until next time, take care.